So guys, I've got a very quick little update for you today on Battlefield 2042. I've got two things that we're going to be talking about that have actually just popped up on Twitter over the last sort of 12 hours or so. One in regards to the game potentially being on Game Pass, and then secondly, we've got an updated list of the known issues in Battlefield 2042 that the devs have essentially confirmed they know about and that they are essentially working on for, I'd imagine, the May update and future updates beyond that. Now, I'll go through the known issues list in a second, but firstly, I wanted to talk about the potential that Battlefield 2042 is actually maybe getting added to Xbox Game Pass. Now, I was actually already planning on making a video on this, kind of just giving my thoughts on why I think it should go on Game Pass, because personally, I think that is an absolutely perfect decision for DICE to put Battlefield 2042 on Game Pass. But just this morning I've seen, and shout out to Lossy, I'm sure you guys know Lossy, I saw him tweet out that there is actually a screenshot on the Microsoft website of the Battlefield 2042 sort of splash screen, and on the top sort of left there above the text it actually says Game Pass. Now, I've actually just turned on the Xbox and had a look and it isn't on there yet, but I've seen around the place that potentially it could be getting added in the next few weeks. We're not too sure, none of this is confirmed, so just please take this with a grain of salt, but it is kind of weird that it has that little Game Pass logo. At the end of the day, it could literally just be edited or something, I'm not really sure, but it honestly does make sense. Every game that EA makes, they generally end up on EA Play Pro after, 10 to 12 months, usually when they've kind of slowed down, and obviously Battlefield has essentially slowed down since it launched, so at some point it definitely will get added to EA Play Pro, and the thing is that with EA Play Pro, every game that's on EA Play Pro is actually automatically put into Xbox Game Pass. They've signed kind of like an agreement there, or like a partnership really, and so I'm almost certain that this will happen eventually, and the fact that this is coming out now, it's not a massive shock. It is definitely very exciting, but I was already essentially under the assumption that this was going to happen eventually, and obviously with the game slowly turning around and we're nearly at Season 1 now, it does make a lot of sense to do a sort of soft little relaunch of the game through Game Pass that'll bring in so many new players. I've seen games that have been put on Game Pass and they've gained millions upon millions of new players. Even look at Halo, that launched on Game Pass and it had like 20 million players within the first couple of weeks, I think. So again, not 100% sure if this is confirmed or not. We'll find out in the next few weeks or months, I'm sure, but potentially some exciting news for those of you guys who are still playing, because especially for me in Australia, like there are a lot of times of the day where it's pretty hard to find a game, and getting a massive influx of potentially millions of new players, that is no doubt going to be a really good thing for the game, especially leading into Season 1. That would be a nice way to kind of rejuvenate the community a little bit. We finally get some content, the game's in a better space, tons of new players. So yeah, to me, sounds really good, and hopefully this does turn out to be true. Now, lastly, moving on to the actual list of known issues. These are the things that have been confirmed by the developers. They know that they're an issue within the game. There's no timeline at all for when this is going to be fixed. Some of these I'm sure will be fixed in the May update, but there's probably potential that some of these will be further down the line. So no idea at all when these are going to be fixed, but I'll just read through all of these so that you guys know if you're experiencing any of these in your gameplay, then at least that's good for you guys to know that they will be fixed sometime in the future. Reading through the list, we've got that players can't replenish the underbarrel grenade launcher from ammo boxes or Angel loadout crate. Joystick sensitivity is way too high when trying to select deploy zones. The MC5 bolt missile launcher damage is being reviewed, which is definitely exciting to hear. The Nightbird crosshair, and that's the non-zoomed crosshair, is being reviewed. Apparently a lot of players are experiencing huge FPS drops either in the main menu or when using the plus system or the call-in tablet, so that's something else they know about as well. DICE is apparently looking to fix the global kill feed in an upcoming update. Apparently that's bugged out at the moment. They're also apparently working on fixes and improvements to voice chat. Sometimes the game doesn't show the portrait of your current specialist until you next spawn or until you select a new specialist, so that's a pretty minor thing. There is a rare occurrence where you can't swap between Sundance's grenade types, so that's obviously a big issue, so hopefully that gets fixed pretty soon. Tank drivers and passengers can't see on the minimap which direction they're facing, so that's hopefully being fixed. Random vehicle loadouts and or specialist skins reset to default when switching from Portal to all-out warfare matches and or after playing some matches. That's a really big one because I'm sick of kind of changing my skins and then the next time I log on they're just back to the default one, so that's good to see as well. There are rare instances where the soldier's main weapon just disappears in the game, and I've actually seen, shout out to my boy Bob if you're watching, he's had that a few times, so at least you're not the only one there, blood. The underbarrel laser is misaligned on several weapons. There's some instances where players are unable to spawn. There are upside down and invisible players bug, which that's a pretty big one. People have been invisible and just running around killing people. The weekly missions not appearing on the menu. This one's really frustrating because I'm essentially playing like triple the amount of time to get these challenges done that I have to, simply because they aren't tracking half the time, so that is good to see. There's a water bouncing bug on the kaleidoscope map near the data center. Not too sure what that means. I assume if you like jump out of a vehicle or something and you maybe skim across the water, I'm not too sure. There's a first person bug while using Sundance's wingsuit ability, which actually sounds pretty awesome. Some players have reported a flashing issue when they die. Some players are getting stuck under the floor or inside the ceiling on Renewal's distribution center, the launch platform on Orbital, and the Al Salam Park on Hourglass. The 2042 free-for-all spawn points are being reviewed. There's a visual bug where your loadout setups get replaced by other weapons or tools on the menu. And then lastly, some instances where the SG-36 sentry gun explodes right after being placed, which I kind of wish that happened every time, to be honest. So that right there is apparently the full list of stuff that the developers have, publicly stated that they know those are issues. Obviously, there's plenty more stuff wrong with the game. There's probably plenty more stuff that they know is wrong with the game. So these are just the stuff that, they've talked about on Twitter, for example, or on the forums, and it has been confirmed they know about it. Usually with this type of thing, if they know about 20, they probably know about 100 that we just don't really know publicly that they know that. So I can guarantee there's a lot more than this, but these are just the ones that they've publicly come out and talked about. So anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this video. Obviously, the Game Pass sort of news is very, very promising. I will keep you guys updated if we get any official word on that. Like I said, as of right now, it is all just rumors. Essentially, there's no confirmation. But in my opinion, it's a pretty big chance of happening, whether it is soon or even if it's in 6 months. I'm almost certain that will happen eventually, just simply because pretty much all of EA's games, like all the Battlefield games, all the FIFAs and all those type of games, that always end up on EA Play Pro, and in turn, those end up on Game Pass. So I'd almost bet the house that it will happen eventually, but hopefully it is, in the next, I've heard rumors it could potentially be next week, so no idea how true that is, but honestly, the sooner the better. I think the game's in a much better state now, and obviously leading into Season 1, the more players we get, the better that will be for the game. That is going to do it for this one though, guys. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave a like down below, and if you are new to the channel, then definitely hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. If you want to support the content that I make here on YouTube, then consider becoming a channel member. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you all out there on the battlefield.